You can start whenever you're ready, Jessica. Yes.
Thank you. I was wondering if you could help me share the screen here so that I could potentially share my screen with all of you. I have a bit of a PowerPoint presentation.
Sure, Jessica. I think I need to make you a co-host to do that.
Perhaps. Is that okay?
That is more than okay.
Excellent. So while you do that, I'll introduce myself. So my name is Jessica.lajoie, and I am a family resource worker for Our Children, Our Future in the La Cloche area. That encompasses Espanola, Massey, Webwood. We go up to Birch Island. Yeah, I've been working with Our Children, Our Future for just about 8 years now. Actually, I'm in my 9th year, and it's been really quite the adventure. Over the years, I've developed many passions for many things. I feel like I'm a little bit of an everything person. You know, I delve in a bunch of different things. So today I was asked to come and talk about my outdoor programming that I have started here. So it's a year-round outdoor program. And I'm mostly here to inspire you all. I took a training. It is called the Outdoor Play Training. It is online. And it's about 48 hours of lessons and learning. And it's quite the lovely training. Anyways, are we ready to PowerPoint this up? May I share my screen? Oh, I can. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's try this and see if this will work. Can everyone see?
I can see. Looks good.
Excellent. Perfect. Okay, so by all means, if ever you have any questions throughout the presentation, just stop me, jump in. I'm ready. Also, I put on the closed captions. Just a quick note, a quick side note. I think it's very exciting, and I'm going to watch how many times I say I feel like that's just such a common thing. We talk and we say all the time. So here is my agenda for today. I will be discussing my program, as well as a very basic, where do I start? I know I was asked to just kind of do a quick how do we do this? Where do we start? So yeah, that's part of it. I'm going to discuss the variety of programs that you can start offering, as well as what a typical day looks like. Supplies, so the basic supplies, as well as how do I get parents to buy into the idea of being outdoors all the time. I'm going to discuss partnerships, weather, and then I have a variety of resources. I just put them there so I remember, but I am going to send them to Rochelle as well, so that she can send them out to all of you if you guys are interested. Good, so I want to talk about this photo. I put a lot of photos throughout my presentation. So these are 3 of our young babies that participated in our outdoor program. Now I have to tell you, it was very exciting when I first started this program. I'm going to move on. Here we go. So, I ran my outdoor program from September 2019 to March 2020, so until the pandemic arrived, at our local ski hill once a week from 10 to noon. I was really lucky to have the partnership with the ski hill. I mean, it's such a beautiful space, and it's such a great opportunity to be outdoors and not in a park with play structures. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am not an outdoorsy person. I didn't like the outdoors. I am not big on bugs or bears or all of those things. However, I really felt that this was something that was missing in our area. And I also truly believe that as a parent now, this is something that I want to get used to and I want to do. So I kind of went on my want. I'm going to invite you now to close your eyes if you want to, but just to, or just to imagine at least my space. So the area is accessed via a small beam bridge that crosses a small stream. Once the bridge is crossed, families have access to a variety of short hiking paths with a variety of trees, rock formations, vegetations, and animals that are common to the northeastern area. Once walking through the path, it's probably 10 feet long. There's a 100-foot square cleared out area with a picnic table for us to sit and do activities. The stream is inaccessible, so as the area around it are very steep and not very safe. There's a large rock formation behind us. They are a natural boundary and they delimit our space. So that is, you may now open your eyes and come back to me. So that is kind of what it looks like. You've got all these beautiful Northern Ontario trees. There's a beautiful variety of trees and leaves, and as you'll see through my photos, there are definitely some of them. We also have access to the fire pit that's in front of the ski chalet. It's fabulous. So on this photo right here, before I move on to the next slide, you have Jessie and her son. Her son is just smelling flowers, and they're having the beautiful exchange, the back and forth exchange of what do flowers smell like? What does it feel like? And I don't know if you can notice, but his shirt is 2 colors. This was his first time participating in our program, and we went on one of the hikes, and there's kind of a hill and it's kind of steep, and at the bottom there's this big water puddle, and he just stumbled down this hill, fell face first into the water. So that's why his shirt is dark, face first into the water, and he got up, shook himself around, and just went back on playing. And so it's really interesting because Jessie here is like, you know, my son is wet, yet we're here, life is good. So I wanted to share this photo with you. Moving on to where to start. So this is Caleb. He is one of our little boys, and this is where the fire pit is. And he is exploring. This is fall, as you can tell by the beautiful trees in the background. So the background where all the trees are, that's where our little area is for exploration. And he has his mitts on and he's playing in the water, and it's so lovely because mom is just letting him go, right? Now I want to talk about a few things when it comes to where to start. The first one is location. So when selecting a location, you want to think outside the box. Think outside of your splash pads and your parks if you have the opportunity to, your city parks if you do have the opportunity to. I was very lucky to be partnered up with the ski hill. But here are some things when you're looking and thinking outside the box. Here are some things that you should think about that you would like to have at your center. I hope this makes sense. I'm very French. So you want somewhat of an outdoor environmental aesthetic. So again, splash pads, you know, cement, they're not recommended. I mean, you have to do what you have to do, but not recommended. Also, fluid materials like sand and water, mud, grass, natural play spaces that include slopes, rocks, and hills. And you want an area and an environment that offers a variety of experiences, so that promote child and adult relationships as well, that are rich in exploration with green spaces as well as a large group gathering space. And you want to make sure that your environment is safe while also offering the option of risk taking. So far so good? I'm going to move on. Oh, yes, so here are 2 other, so here we are in the winter, playing outside in the winter. We have 2 of our parents, we sled a lot, and we also used our sleds to transport the children from the fire pit area to our little hiding area. I want to talk about taking risks as well as eco-sensitivity. So my first question to you is how you feel about risks, and I'm not asking you to answer right now. I just want, this is something that I feel as as workers, it's something we need to think about. How do I feel with risk? You need to think about your own comfort level with risk taking before starting a program like this. It's important to know where you're at so that you're able to communicate those things with parents. For example, if you're uncomfortable with a child running down a hill, you know, that might be something you want to communicate with parents, or at least make part of your programming. Yeah, risk taking. That's that on that. So it's just really important to know where you stand. Same with sensitivity. I put those together because this is also something that you need to reflect on before starting a program like this. Is you want to know what your beliefs are regarding the land and how to care for it. So some might be super comfortable with pulling out plants, or you know, cutting leaves from trees, where others might not be. I would say that a really good balance is to make sure that you're just aware of the impact that you have on the land, and how you're going to leave it once you're gone. For example, gigantic flower bed. Some people might be super comfortable saying, yes, let's pick a few and leave them there, you know, leave the rest there, while others might be, you know what, these flowers are for smelling, they are for observing and touching, but we are very careful and gentle with them. So it's really up to you to figure out where you stand and to be able to find the language to communicate that to the children and to the parents without screaming, no, don't pull out this leaf or flower. There we go. Moving on. I also want to discuss some of the challenges that can come with offering an outdoor program. So here we are around the fire pit in front of the ski chalet. Again, think ahead of time about some of the challenges that you might run into and problem solve ahead of time. Here are a few of the challenges that we have had. Washrooms. So there is a ski chalet, however, they are closed on Mondays, and they are closed during the summer, fall. They only open for ski season. So what we did, we made it very clear to our families that there is no washrooms. You come for the 2 hours if you choose to. You may leave at any point, and we recommend you go to the washroom ahead of time. So that was kind of our solution. I know other centers are using porta potties, those little portable toilets with the bags that have gel in them that kind of conceal everything. That's also an option. Another challenge that we run into is warmth during the winter time, and that's a really big one, and I feel like that's a big reason why people are so uncomfortable with offering outdoor programs throughout the winter. We were lucky, we had access to a fire pit, so anytime we were in need of warmth, we went to the fire pit. However, there are some other solutions to this, which include just finding some activities that are active, right? So we're going outside for 2 hours, but we are active. We are moving the whole time. We are staying warm. Tarps, perhaps. Having a half shelter built. Those are all some possible options as well. Bears is another one of our big challenges in the area. So there are bears that live on the ski hill because it is a ski hill. And so for us, the problem solving portion of it was to carry a bear horn with us at all times and just to be ready. The last challenge that we ran into was mobility issues. So having parents with strollers, how do we get them on a trail in the bush when there's snow? So we had sleds. As far as people with adults with mobilities, that's definitely with mobility issues, that's definitely one of the challenges that we haven't solved yet. We are working towards it, and that's definitely a challenge with not owning a space and actually just borrowing the space. But anyways, again, think ahead of time about some challenges you might run into. Problem solve ahead of time with your team. That is my recommendation. Moving on to types of programs. I kind of split this into 3. So there are your nature-based program where nature is at the core of the program, and educators, teach high quality environmental education practices. And then you have taking the indoors outdoor. I didn't know how to really translate that into English, but basically what you're doing indoors right now, just replicating it, but outdoors. And then finding a combination of it. So keep in mind that integration of nature into early childhood education is a continuum from no nature integration to the other end of the continuum where nature is infused in all parts of the program, right? So you want to find where you fit and your comfort level within this sliding scale. And as well, again, you want to meet the needs of your parents too. So what I was doing was a combination of the two, and I will discuss that further when I talk about what a day looks like in my program. So these are two different children on this photo. If you take a quick look, they have a wooden spoon and they're just trying out the sounds on everything around them. And I just love this photo, not only because of what they're doing, but also because they're two different age groups. I mean, this child I think was 6, this other one was 18 months, and here they were working together, playing together outdoors. To me, it's so beautiful. A typical day. So this will be kind of quick. So beforehand, when you start this program and every day that you go out, you want to make sure that you are doing a safety and risk check. And I felt like this photo was really spoke to me because of this, because that day I got there ahead of time and I noticed all the ice that was on the ground. And I was like, oh, this is a risk. How do I feel about this risk? How do my parents feel? And it was a discussion where I told my parents, this is ice. I don't know how I feel about the ice. I don't know how you feel about the ice. It's up to you to experiment. And this again is Jessie. So she did come back after her son got all wet, and her son, and they are skating on the ice. They're figuring out how to work together on the ice. So I just wanted to share this photo because it speaks so much about risk and about working together and the goodness of the outdoor play group. During the program, you want to provide I provided some activities, which most of the time we would gather together around the fire pit. Usually, most of the time, I won't lie, I'm not a good fire starter person. So most of the time parents would show up and I'd still be trying to start the fire. So then we would kind of all just work together at making this fire, which was such a great learning opportunity for all of us. We would then go for a walk into our little area, past the bridge and go through the trails. We would do an activity in there. We would have a snack, and then we would gather again together. So usually the activity, I mean, it could be directed or it could just be, go find something in the bush for your babies to feel and touch and have these sensory experiences. Also, I have to mention, there is one photo of a 6-year-old, as we saw previously. However, he is the only child that was not an infant that came to this program. So I had about eight families that came on a weekly basis, and they all had babies. I just want to say that because that really threw me in for a loop. I'm expecting to do this outdoor program where, we're inquiring, we've got our magnifying glasses, we're exploring, we're moving, there's so much happening. And then here I was with all these babies having to provide a program. That was quite the exciting challenge. Don't forget, when you're doing the program, to provide those learning opportunities and to watch for those learning opportunities and to ask those wonder questions as well to your parents and the children. Oh, I wonder what this smells like, or I wonder what this feels like. Here, touch. So just have those things in mind. After the program, you want to make sure that you are cleaning up and that you are leaving it how it was when you first got there, even better if you can. All right, Here is a basic list of supplies that I really feel would be, the basic to starting an outdoor program. You would want something to gather on, such as, and here you have a picnic blanket on the ground, or if you have a more permanent location, perhaps some stumps to sit on, or a combination. You want something to collect and gather items. A bag, a bucket, as you can see at the back of the photo here. It might be a little small, but there are some green buckets back there. You also, I would recommend having magnifying glasses, loose parts, so nothing too crazy. Your regular blocks, maybe those. I mean, nature already provides us with so many loose parts, but to keep in mind anyways. Kitchen tools, measurement tools, as well as first aid kits, baby wipes, and a water jug. I know we offered a big water jug, and parents, we offered them to bring their own water bottles to fill. We also had some cups on hand. And all of these supplies should fit in one big Tupperware tote. Like as a beginning, I mean, this is what I started with. I mean, now my list is longer than my arm, but this was really a good place to start. So here are two of our babies. They're exploring with the kitchen tools. What's really lovely is Mom showed him how to use the tongs, and then she gave it to him to try. And here's his take on trying to move with the tongs. All right, let's talk about parent buy-in. This was really one of the scariest things for me to start an outdoor program. I was like, is someone going to join? Do parents want to be outside? Let's see and let's try. So this is Bree on this photo here. And we did an activity where we learned to start our own fires with a flint and what are those things called? You know what I'm talking about. A flint and, yeah, can't find the word. Well, anyways, this is what they're trying to do. And all the parents that day took a turn, and we all just tried to start our own fires. And I feel like this photo is really speaking of parent buy-in. I mean, she's all in at this point. She's learning to start a fire to keep us warm during the winter. So here are 3 tips for parent buy-in. First off, build on your existing relationships. I mean, the base of our work as educators and in our field is to, make relationships with parents and to build this relationship of trust. And so that's exactly what I did for 2 months prior to the program. I was just pumping up those parents. We're going to be outside. It's going to be great. You trust me. I trust you. Let's do this together. And for me, that really worked for my group with the babies. However, the group with the toddlers and the preschoolers, it didn't catch on. It didn't catch on. Moving on, takeaways and activities. Parents love stuff. They love to do activities. They love a result, even though this is something that we're trying to move away from. They love it. I told them this day, hey, we're going to learn to start fires, right? Well, everyone was like, woohoo, we're doing this. Bird feeders, we made bird feeders once. We're going to make our own book, our nature book. So parents were really excited by the activities. Some days we didn't get to make them because the children were learning other things. I do remember one day we went for our walk and I had some activities planned. We went for a walk and we got into our little 100-foot square area, and we heard a partridge drumming on a log. And that was the rest of the day for us. We literally stood there listening, watching, so we could see it flapping its wings. And here we are, all trying to imitate the sound of the partridge, including the babies. We're all going, right? Not really knowing how to do it, and we're all trying. And of course there's one mom there that's just like, oh, I know how to do this, and she's just trying to show us all. Everyone is just participating in this beautiful moment of learning about partridges. So I mean, the takeaway is the incentives. Sometimes you don't get there, and parents kind of get to see, oh wait, there is more to this than just making a book. The third one is social media. Social media is such a great tool to share. I say social media, however, if you have access to emailing your participants or even calling them, share your excitement with your parents through social media. Use some infographics. In my resource category, there's a lot of links to infographics that are made in Ontario. This is one of them. You know, wet weather, what should I wear? Here are some helpful tips. It's so simple, yet you're making your parents and your families feel more comfortable, feeling more at ease with the idea of being outdoors. Wait a second, this doesn't sound so hard, right? I just need a few layers, we're good to go. Also, polls, ask your parents what they want. Make up some surveys, come up with some ideas to, you know, what do you want to do this week? Do you want to go sliding, or do you want to go build some snowmen? Polls, social media. Next, partnerships. I was very lucky to have the Nidu Nising Sharing and Learning Center for All join us into in our programming. And so I know a lot of times our partners, I feel like we always stick to the same partners. I encourage you to think outside the box and think of what type of partners you could have join you in this adventure. It could be your local guy that knows everything about mushrooms in your trails, or you know, there's so many opportunities. So the Nidu Nising Sharing and Learning Center for All were one of our partners, and they were just lovely. They shared a lot of stories about the land, as well as a lot of teachings regarding fire and the land. And here we are on this photo here, you have Chase and Brianna, and we're cooking bread on the fire. So she made a recipe of bread that she brought, and it was all little layers of bread, and we just rolled it around our stick and cooked it. And this was our day, just sitting around the fire, talking, reading stories, playing in the snow, and cooking bread. And we're outdoors, and we're having all those benefits of being outside. There is no such thing as bad weather, only inappropriate clothing. This is one of my supervisor's favorite quotes that she always reminds me of. So here are all of our families. We're just walking towards our trail, and you know, they're all babies. So definitely what I would recommend, and from the things I've read and from the things I've learned in my trainings, is that anything below -25 is not recommended for a long period of time. And when you're being outdoors without shelter, such as we were, it's definitely not recommended. Same as over 30. Anything over 30, if you don't have access to a shelter or shade or something like that, +30 is definitely a limited period of time outdoors as well. So I just wanted to share that, because that's really something that I keep a close eye on with the outdoor program. And here are all of my lovely resources. This is a photo of Merrick and his mom eating the bread that we just cooked around the fire. And they're just sitting in the snow, you know, all dressed up cozy. So for my resources, the first four, so Outdoor Play Canada, they have great resources, as well as forestontario.ca. Childnature.ca has this wonderful, that's where I got my infographic from, actually, for my social media slide. Thrive Outside, it's a great interactive tool, as well as ecokids.ca /education resources. And the last one is a link to an app, a telephone app or an iPad, a tablet app that I used a lot during my outdoor program. because again, not an outdoorsy person. I don't know anything about nature. And this app is a plant identifier. So you find a mushroom, oh, what kind is it, right? Because it comes up in discussion, and I'm also a very curious person and I notice everything. And so we would take a photo and we would learn about it through the app. It's a free app. It's from National Geographic. It is fabulous. It's called iNaturalist. It is a really, really great app that I really recommend to everyone. And yeah, that is all. I'm going to stop sharing. Hopefully, this gives you motivation to want to start, and I hope that it encourages you to believe that it's easy. It's easy to get outdoors. All you need is a good pair of boots, and you're good to go. So there we go. Thank you so much for giving me the time to come and share with you. And yeah, I hope
Jessica, there was a question. How did you address situations where families wanted to participate but did not have appropriate winter clothing for either children or parents? Really looking forward to sharing your presentation. Oh, that's another. Really looking forward to sharing your presentation with our CAPC partners across the district of Algoma.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you. So as far as clothing went, we do have access to a lot of other agencies that help with clothing. And so a lot of times we would either refer the families depending on their comfort level, or we would go to the partners asking for clothing. So it was really a two-way. We would kind of help the parents get the appropriate clothing, because you're right, that is definitely a barrier. Thank goodness for all the organizations in the area that can support us. I hope that answers your question.
So you partnered with the ski hill in your community. So how did you go about to access their space?
So I'm not sure I understand your question.
So did you have to ask the owner to use their space and like rent it out? Did you have to pay? Was it like an agreement you had? Like, can you talk about how you?
Absolutely, yes. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't get that. Yes. So what we did, we did go to the manager of the ski hill, and we kind of presented the project saying, you know, we want to be outdoors. We'll be careful with your space. At first, I had no intention of using the fire pit. I was like, we're just going to really move a lot during the winter time. And actually, he told us to speak with the board of directors, because this is a board of directors run facility. And basically we presented the project, and they were on. And as far as, you know, using the fire pit and everything we've added to the group, I mean, we have our own bin there with our stuff in it. It was just a back and forth communication between us and the ski hill, and we're very lucky that they're just so excited about our project. Does that answer your question, Rochelle?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. I'm seeing more questions here. Did I provide transportation to the ski hill? We did not. However, the ski hill is not far, so I would say it's probably maximum a 5-minute drive out of town. So we're very lucky that way. Yeah, that would be definitely a challenge on how to get your families there, especially if not a lot of them have transportation. So food for thought, renting a bus maybe? Partnering up with a bus agency? Good question, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions regarding my presentation? Is there anything else I can help answer? I hope you guys are excited. I can see a lot of excitement in the chat. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with. Okay.
Yeah,
well, thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. This is something that I hold really dear to my heart, and I just want to share it with everyone. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your meeting. I will be leaving you now as I have to go get my child from school.